could be the only one with sunglasses.
We just want to open with an apology. That cocktail episode really got out of hand.
It did.
It really did. And
Wow.
we didn't even muster up the courage to post the entire episode.
No.
That goes strictly to our Patreon supporters. So if you're looking, I know New Year's is kind of when everybody starts saving money.
Is it?
If you're looking for a new hobby
Yeah.
for in the new year, which is listening to us talk more.
If you're looking for a hyperfixation.
Oh, us.
Listening to us talk more is my new
If
hobby.
this is your hyperfixation, we're just going to insert a mental health hotline below. This is ridiculous.
God. Head over to our Patreon. It's linked below in the bio. But until then, welcome back to What the Podcast.
Oh, that was perfect.
Every time. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch as always. Cara Tafolla.
What's up?
Okay.
Care
Annie the
about the
Skovmand.
sickness.
The lovely.
Hi.
We've got two sickies on the couch.
Not us. Not
No,
us.
somehow.
Yes.
dude, we did all the same stuff. We did
I know.
cocktail party. We've been, going to church. We've been freaking. I went to
You-
Disneyland with Cara.
And you've been living with patient zero, and you
I
still
know.
didn't get it.
I know. I was,
Yeah,
It's
that
amazing,
was
man.
amazing.
You are built different. I
well,
just wanna
tis
say.
the season because I hear it's going around again. Not so much COVID,
Specifically,
but
the cough.
It's
The
like
cough.
some sort of weird respiratory to the point where I called the nurse hotline.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, we have a whole section where you can just call about your cough and we'll just prescribe you stuff over the phone because so many people are coming in with a cough that they're like, we're just going to, we literally just cough over the phone. Yeah, here's an inhaler.
that
No
sounds like
way.
such a 1950s.
Wow, look at you.
Like,
I was literally told, okay, go home. It'll go away.
yeah,
Nothing.
They said I didn't qualify for that. I coughed and they're like, that sounds too good. You're fine. They're like, go ahead. We'll send you to the doctor anyway.
well, if you want to send in your coughs to our podcast, we'll listen to them and we'll tell you what
We'll
we
tell
think.
you
Oh,
Yeah.
what you need.
It's kind of nice.
Guys, this is the last episode of 2023.
Wow.
I know,
Okay,
I know.
Next year, we're going to figure out what buttons are what.
I feel like I'm getting
No.
close.
No. Isn't it the best though when he clicks the wrong one? It's so funny.
Hilarious every time.
It's so funny.
Every time.
That's the whole shtick.
Hilarious every time. That's the podcast. That's
All right.
the
All right.
podcast
I've
logo.
had enough out of you.
But I thought this would be a good episode to look back in the year. I feel like a lot of crazy shit went down this year.
It always
Yeah?
does.
Like what?
Well, great question. I have a notes app here, and I'm going to just say a couple of big events I've collected from news articles
And we
and
say
whatnot.
smash or pass.
Basically.
Okay.
Just give me your, we'll go around the room and give me like your take, what you remember,
My gosh,
etc.
make me
All right,
laugh.
I'm in.
Okay. This one's from earlier on in the year. We've got Prince Harry's book, The
I listened
Spare.
to that.
I still have it in my audiobook library. I haven't listened to it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll ring in the new year by listening to it.
You listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it.
It's weird, right? It's like kind of gross.
It was just kind of like, it's kind of like I was a traumatized kid. No one really helped me, but then they gave me a lot of money.
Cash
and now
grab.
I'm here.
Like
Dang.
every other celebrity book.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. You're
Dang.
like,
Sorry, celebrities.
Yeah, but Harry grew up like celebrity from the moment he was born.
yeah.
It wasn't like he
it is
became
weird.
famous.
Like he
at
does
some
give
point.
like a weird insight of like what life was like in the palace, which it's like,
in the palace.
God, no one should live like that just because it's so effed up. But whatever.
That's a great transition to one of my other points here. The conversation about Nepo babies. A lot of talk this year about Nepo babies, children of famous people, children of rich people getting a leg up. What do you think about that?
Well, it's how the parents always say, like, no, they did it themselves. But it's like, no, it doesn't matter that they went out on auditions. It's the point that they got the audition.
The one
they
I'm thinking
got
about specifically was Ethan Hawke's kid.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke and
Maya
Uma
Hawke.
Thurman's Maya Hawke.
She's in Stranger Things.
Yeah, she was in Stranger
Oh.
Things. She's gotten a lot of movies
I was like,
lately.
what?
You guys know actors and actresses' names more than.
Yeah.
Well, remember, they
Anybody
go
I
to their
know.
houses.
You don't
They
know
just
Uma
stop
Thurman?
by.
That's true. They do drive by the houses.
They drive
huh?
by their houses. They're like,
got
oh, look at
You guys
there's
don't
their
know
house.
Ethan Hawke?
No,
No.
I can.
I know Ethan
it's
Hawke
more,
as in Tony Hawk's brother, Ethan.
For the
who's
record?
a journalist.
No.
For the record,
No.
it's more on me than I'm on you. I just don't know. Like, I literally will see people and be like, "Oh, that's Michael Scott. I just don't know.
Amen.
I don't
Amen.
know
Wait,
the
I know
names.
him.
And that's on
He was
God.
on an episode of The Office.
You know what I'm saying though? I just don't know names. You guys know them really well.
That's how I am. I 1,000%. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's that person. They were in this and they were in that, and they yeah, they're it's that person.
Right.
I have no idea what their names are.
You guys are really good at it. I'm saying it's a plus for you guys. You guys
have
are
to
great
be
at it.
A list for me to know your name and
Same.
face.
Well, I'm sure you heard this name throughout the year.
Look at these
Towards the
transitions,
beginning
man.
of the year.
These
Do you like
transitions
that?
Joe Biden.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yes.
What does
Oh,
Dylan
yeah.
Mulvaney mean to you?
You know what I just found out?
Go ahead.
That Dylan Mulvaney is from San Diego.
Yes.
Really?
I knew
That
that.
they were from Alpine. Oh. I was like, what?
Wow.
Dylan Mulvaney was the whole Pepsi.
No,
Yeah,
it was
it's-
Bud Light.
Close.
Trans-
Bud Light.
The
trans-
Bud Light.
That,
Bud
Pepsi
Light
was
controversy.
Kendall Jenner
That's
way
right.
back when.
Yes, that's
He-
right.
They were also the spokesperson for Tampax for a while.
Yeah.
Just
Dylan
very.
Mulvaney is
a lot of brands.
trans,
Yes.
Per-
TikToker.
I guess TikToker, activist, celebrity.
Personality.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they go by
They
she,
just
her, but
posted.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure, but
they are.
I
she,
think
her.
it's she.
Yeah.
And she became the face of Bud Light to a lot of upset.
Around Super Bowl time,
Bud
right?
Light,
It
yeah,
was right
Bud
around
Light,
Super Bowl time, and Bud Light, traditionally a good old boy beer, became pretty kind of like that thing that they do where they start destroying their own possessions. People were buying cans of Bud
Yeah.
Light to just throw them on the ground and not drink
We're
them.
gonna burn them.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that
You're
was
still
you bought
buying
it.
them.
Yeah, that's the best.
Crazy.
No, that's the best kind of that is I think of it with Dixie Chicks way back when.
Mm-hmm.
The Dixie Chicks were we hate that George Bush is from Texas, and then everyone in Texas was like, kill the Dixie Chicks, and they would buy their CDs to then destroy them. I'm like, guys, you just made them millions of
Book
dollars.
burnings and stuff,
Yeah,
record burnings.
Man.
Awesome.
Let's all buy their tickets and no one show up.
Yeah.
It's cool. So we got a sold out show for nothing.
John, you like
Let's
Bud
do
Light?
it.
no, I don't like any beers really. But
It's good for you.
Really, you should try Blue Moon.
don't get me started on them.
Blue Moon?
That's her thing.
Were we on the same side on that?
What, Blue Moon?
On Annie's whole Blue Moon thing? How it just came out of nowhere?
The problem
You
is
guys-
I like Blue Moon,
Yeah,
but
you
it,
guys-
it did come out of nowhere.
Didn't it
for
come
sure.
out of nowhere?
You guys
Okay.
don't know me.
Speaking of things that came out of nowhere, this summer we all experienced a really weird trend: the Grimace Shake.
Yes.
So
You remember
try
that?
it.
You remember
I
that
didn't
Grimace
I
Shake?
never did it. Never made.
We
never
tried,
made one.
remember?
Saw
went to
quite
the
a few of
drive-thru.
them.
Oh,
And they were
yeah.
like, you have to buy the whole meal, and we were like,
Oh yeah, and we
Why
said
didn't
no.
we just buy the whole
Right?
meal? I don't
No.
get.
I don't know.
Pass.
We
It
really
must have been
could have.
tight
I
that
don't know.
week.
We were on the
I
other
think
side of
I
history.
think it was the principle of it. We're like, no,
Yeah.
we're not buying the meal. Give us
Because
the
that's what they.
shake.
That's what they. That was the whole thing, right? Is McDonald's. That trend happened, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna sell it with the whole meal." Because
Yeah.
why
and
would
you know what?
why would
Usually
make-
we're the people that fall victim to that.
right.
We're the people that fine.
like the
we'll
Choco
buy the
Taco.
whole
That
thing.
was last year, I think, though. But
But that was a real thing. That's gone.
Well, now the
Yeah.
Grimace Shake's gone
They're
too.
here. I don't think they ever really left.
okay, that's beautiful.
Have you seen
Okay. Speaking of
I've
delusion,
never looked for them like I did before.
speaking of
Oh, delusion.
disconnected from reality,
Okay, yeah.
Colleen Ballinger had a pretty headline moment.
Yikes.
Formerly Miranda Sings.
Oh,
The toxic gossip train. That was a
so awful.
huge moment for the internet.
That was
Wow.
crazy.
I feel like the power of YouTube. We should just disconnect some of those old YouTubers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Disconnect 'em?
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Disconnect him. Could you disconnect him for me?
Yeah, I'll just
disconnect.
go in.
Almost like Omegle.
Okay.
Disconnect.
Oh,
move on.
that's
No,
not even on my
you-
list. We lost
no,
Omegle
but
this
you-
year.
Oh,
You like
I
Omegle.
mourned Omegle.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I actually
Is it
was
gone?
thinking about it yesterday because I
Yeah,
was watching a bunch of.
gone.
Oh,
As-
It was the episode that I think you were out on. A couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
I didn't know they got rid of it.
Oh,
There's a whole well, I don't
Manifesto.
know, manifesto on the Omegle website about how the creator feels about it.
With the
getting
last
shut
line
down.
being like, I tried to fight for
Why
you
was
guys.
it shut
Fight for us.
down?
Well, because of predators.
that was episode 156. If you want to go
guess,
back
yeah.
and listen to that one.
I was watching a lot of SVU as I laid sick in bed because
Okay.
that's what you want for your fever dreams. And
Recently. Okay.
I dreamed that we owned cows. the
oh,
other
that
night.
sounds great.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
good.
dreamed I was catching predators.
Okay.
Did you
well,
watch SVU or To Catch a Predator? Which show did you
SVU,
watch? Okay.
which they catch predators.
Okay. All right. Got it.
But then I was thinking
That
about
was confusing.
Omegle because a lot of their episodes have a very loose Omegle theme.
Oh, no
Where they're like they
way.
were chatting online with strangers.
Chat room online.
And it turns out they were a pedophile. You know,
Dang.
and I was like, I'm glad that my kids will one day watch this show and be like, what? Like, there's nothing like that exists, Mom. And I'll be like, not anymore.
Dang.
So that's
Well, speaking of television,
Oh, okay. Here we go.
the WGA and the SAG strike
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
was huge this summer.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It really sparked a lot of different industries to end up striking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It caused me to almost cancel Disney Plus because I don't really use Disney Plus.
you almost did.
And I
I
forgot.
almost canceled it.
I just forgot about it.
That
honestly.
is
Well,
perfect.
it caused like 4 of my favorite shows to be canceled.
Yeah, true.
Well, and then we
Really,
lost
what
the writers
shows?
for this show.
we may never watch Severance ever again. We may never
Yeah.
watch Stranger Things may never come out.
Wow.
That's fine.
You know what though? I think there's a silver lining. Shut up.
That's fine.
I think there's a silver lining because we went to go see the Iron Claw last week.
Yeah.
Good.
Great movie. It's an A24 moment.
You seem
And-
really, really
I'm
amped by it.
I'm amped, and
So
we'll
You
get
got
to
a
that.
gym membership.
We'll get to
for
that
it.
in the post show.
Well,
let's
in
not
the
let's
post
not
show.
lose
Let's
the
not give it
thread
away
here.
for free.
Patreon link down below. You can watch the post show. All of the movie trailers, like 90% of them were A24 movies
Yeah.
coming out. I'm
Oh,
like,
good.
Awesome.
and they were the ones that right at the beginning of the strike, like
They
wrapped up their
agreed to
deal,
everything.
agreed to
Yeah.
everything, kept making. The train never stopped.
So smart.
I think
for
it's going to
them.
be a big. This is. I know I'm getting ahead of myself.
I like their
But-
movies too.
2024 prediction. They're going to be huge.
Good.
gonna
Good
blow
for
up.
them.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about time we get some good people to be huge. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with
Okay.
that is like there's this fine line between as soon as you become a certain size, you kind of become like the rest.
become
of
the
them,
thing you're
you
trying
know?
not to be.
So like they have to constantly counteract that, which
Yeah.
at some point when you get to a size, it's just gonna lose those elements. You
Hey,
know?
Yeah.
well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe before, but maybe this is when it changes.
I hope that's the case. I just
It could be.
2024,
cautiously
John,
skeptical.
your word's going to be optimism. Okay, practice it.
Speaking of optimism,
yes.
the people that went to the bottom of the ocean were pretty optimistic.
Oh.
In the Titanic sub.
Titan.
Well, they were going for the Titanic.
Oh yeah,
it was
it's
called the
called
Titan.
Yeah.
The Titan sub.
I forgot about that.
The
Still one of
the
my
world.
biggest regrets.
The shot heard around the world, or should I say, the explosion heard around the world.
Okay, well, you know how
Implosion.
they're like it imploded, and then I heard,
but they found stuff.
yeah, then they are like, oh, well,
Little
we actually
bits.
found like some body parts, and it was like,
Not
that's
possible.
Not what you said.
Uh-huh.
Mystery. Continues.
I mean, it could have just been like
Well,
the Coast Guard was out there.
Well, it doesn't
They're
just
looking for body
disappear.
parts.
I mean, implosion. Like yes, it's gnarly, but I feel like
I think the idea is that if it
They
imploded,
liquefy, right?
yeah,
They
like all of the
liquefy.
metal would have crushed them
Deadass.
and encapsulated them. I don't
But
think it would be
okay,
Science is a little
here's the thing:
rough
if
on
you
that.
go out to the ocean looking for body parts, you're gonna find them.
yeah, right. That's
yeah,
true.
like 1,000%. Like their bodies out there.
Those aren't the Titan sub people, but
Yeah.
anyways,
There's
Yeah,
for sure bodies.
I think
out
the worst
there.
part of that story was it was like the countdown for
The
3
countdown.
days, and then they found out that they recorded the implosion like
The first day.
like 12 hours into that whole countdown. And we were all like waiting to see if, and then the time ran out. And we were like, oh
They're
man, that's so sad. And then they're like, actually, we heard the implosion at hour 12, and you're like,
you're like, so
Wait,
why were we
what?
watching this? First of all, I think that's probably one of the most Black Mirror moments from this year that I experienced was the
countdown.
ticker. Yes, the
Yeah.
countdown
On the bottom of a news
on
channel.
national television, being like, "Yep, these dudes down there, if they're not dead already, they're going to be dead in 5, 4,
yeah.
3." What the?
And we
heck?
were all just like, what is
We
going on?
love morbid things.
But
like
we were
that.
so hooked. We were like, "Yes."
Do you guys
And
remember?
then also the
There's also
father
rich
and
people, so
son
we were like,
from
yeah,
were they from India?
the
Or-
son
Yes.
who like didn't want to go.
No, it was his wife was supposed to go with him, and then his wife was like, "No, take your son." And I'm like, "Could you imagine
knew.
being
She knew.
like that woman and being like, I gave my seat up, and then they, the whole thing is
Yeah.
so sketchy. So I guess you should have
So
known
sketchy.
a little bit that there was risk.
Also,
but
yeah, like no.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say it was kind of like, do you guys remember the Malaysian air flight way back
Yes.
when?
The
And it was
plane
that
that
same
disappeared?
thing. It was like, where is it? Like, and it was like a whole website of like you could scour like
Yeah.
the earth. Like it was like interactive. Like let's find what happened. It's like
Dang.
what?
yeah,
It was like, if they're still in the air, they only have this much fuel left before they crash.
Dang.
The show Manifest is kind of based
I
off of that idea.
love
And Bobby and I
Manifest.
both watched Manifest, and every time he or I get on a plane, we because we thought the funniest detail in that show was like none of the people kept any of the people's stuff. Like they all just like, which in 5 years you would. They disappear for 5 years and they come back.
Oh yeah, they literally
And
every person went home
like,
and was like,
where's my
house
stuff?
is gone.
Right. And so Bobby and I always joke when we're getting when either one of us is getting on a plane, we're like, I'll keep your stuff for at least 5 years.
At
Keep
least
all
5
your
years.
stuff for at least 5
That
years.
seems
5
like a
years
bare
to one day?
minimum. Yeah.
and then
on
and then
Facebook
after 5
Marketplace.
years, I can't guarantee it. But,
Yeah, the 5-year
Yeah.
thing was crazy.
because they were all shocked, like, where's all my stuff? And it's like, the first detail is you were gone for 5 years. So I wasn't expecting to see my old room. That's for
Dang.
sure. But
Well, we can't possibly talk about 2023 without mentioning the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. The tour to end all tours, its own personal economy, boosting the American dollar.
Love.
John?
not interested. Thank you.
Okay, great. Annie? Anything over there?
Slay Queen.
Excellent. Cara?
Love you.
Okay, great.
Next.
This is a great podcast.
What? We've
We've
talked
talked about that so
forever.
much. She does
Speaking
not
of
need her
talking about
time.
it so much, we can't also go on without talking about AI. This was definitely the year of AI. I'm talking, AI generated images, AI videos, AI fake Drake song came out.
Especially the fact that this podcast is currently being edited by AI.
We are not real, actually, believe it or not.
That's what we need to do.
This whole podcast has been computer generated.
Shutting down.
You.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
AI. We'll see what happens. It's gonna take over the world. We're all gonna die from it.
That's probably fine.
What's next?
Okay. My last big one, and I think about this fondly when I look back at the year, is Barbenheimer. Is the Barbie movie coming out the
That was
same day
crazy.
as Oppenheimer? Double
so
feature.
fun.
We spent
Why
12
don't we do
hours
that
at the
more
movie
often?
theater. Isn't that awesome? Just
we
good
should
old
do that.
fashioned.
We should do a double feature. every
If
once in a
only
while.
we were stubbies back then. We could have saved so much money.
We could have
We did
saved
such a good job
tens of
going
dollars.
Oppenheimer then Barbie.
Yeah. We really threaded the
Barbie?
needle.
To do Barbenheimer would
That's
have been
rough.
so depressing.
Yeah.
That would have
It's
been
just
rough.
such a heavy. Oppenheimer's such a heavy movie.
But I
And
felt
then-
like Barbie had some depth too, though. At the end of
Yeah,
Barbie, I
but-
was like emotional. I
But
was like,
after Oppenheimer,
yeah.
I needed a laugh.
Uh-huh.
Same.
I was like,
Same. Same.
Same.
man.
you're right.
And that's kind of the
That's
year
all you
at
had?
10,000 feet. I also
Year
have
in
on
review.
here Twitter becomes X, but that's not very
Oh,
interesting.
burn in hell, Twitter.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Sorry.
I feel like
I mean,
when
bring Twitter back, burn in hell.
when I read all of that like that, it makes me think
So
like
intense.
this year was like discovering, like kind of stumbling
Fresh.
upon things.
Titan.
Fresh.
Yikes.
I
That
feel like
romantic me.
things that we didn't ever foresee. Like Barbenheimer, you couldn't pay to have a campaign like that now. Like it just
No.
happened because of the internet. The Grimace Shake thing is like the weird side of TikTok
Yeah.
rearing its ugly head and McDonald's making money off of it. You
Yep.
know, like
Uh-huh.
all of these things just kind of like seeping out of the woodwork
Yeah.
and just like, yep, this is happening
Yeah.
now. This is
It's-
happening now.
This year has felt very long.
Yeah.
Like it really did. I mean, to think that another thing that you didn't mention
Go ahead.
that happened this year, that's a big thing, is Artie joined the family.
It's true. In January.
Little
Yep.
Arthur.
Wow.
I do
Podcast
remember
dog.
like the first day we got him was an episode day, and I had to like wait
Yep.
at home for a little while, and then Jordan got home, and I had to like leave, and then I think you guys waited a week, and then I came
Wow.
home, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have a dog now. It's crazy. And
Doggy.
then he
Dang.
came to an episode. His first episode was in probably early February, I would imagine, because he came a couple weeks later
The
and was on the show.
podcast dog.
But I feel like that, like, I feel like Arthur's always been here. You know, like I'm like, oh, Arthur.
Yeah.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel like he's still pretty fresh.
Really?
He's still like new. Honestly, like
Still tries to escape.
it's weird because I'm with
That's
you.
true.
The year feels long, but like now that we're here, it feels short.
But there's certain things like my wake was in January. Like that was
Yeah.
almost a year
That's
ago.
pretty
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that
pretty
feels
crazy.
like
You're gonna be turning 26.
I'm almost 26.
You're in your late
20s.
20s. No, not
say
she's
that.
not late.
I had a
20s yet.
psychic
Mid
tell
still,
me.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had a psychic tell my mom, and then my mom told me. My mom was having lunch with the psychic, and she's like, yeah, when she gets like a premonition, she does this, like, kind of like a That's a Raven moment.
Oh, no.
And she
Don't
said
tell
that
me.
I'm gonna be really happy, and I'm gonna find someone. So I'm like, oh, maybe this is the
In
year.
26
Whoa.
in
At
26?
26?
I'm
Well,
not like aiming for 26, but
let's just hope they don't have some weird kinks, eh?
Well,
or
We
maybe
don't
they
kink
do.
shame.
look
Maybe
at
that's
you.
exactly what Annie needs.
So intense. Let's just
And,
hope they don't have some weird kinks.
Well, that's a great time to bring up, my kind of my next, kink shaming.
okay.
No, the next thing I want to talk about
This
this
show
week,
is so awesome.
as we are in our end of the year wrap up here, I've been seeing a lot of people post their ins and outs.
Oh.
You ever heard of this, John?
You just told me about it pre-show, and
Okay,
I've been thinking
spoils.
about it for the last couple of
20 minutes.
25 minutes, probably.
Great.
But you can explain it.
Basically, it just means like things that you want to start doing in the new year. It's a little bit like a resolution, like things that are in and then things that are out. Like what's out for you? Like, negative vibes out. Right. So it's kind of like, what do you want to do? What do you want to not do in the new year?
Well, I imagine you have some cans ready for you. So why don't you start?
Sure. I'll throw out just a few of them. In for me.
Can I guess?
It was so loud.
Sorry, go ahead.
In for me, I want to,
Dying.
and it's going to sound like I'm just copy and pasting last year's New Year's resolution.
Yeah. Let's
Eating healthy.
Yay.
Oh, go right.
In, eating healthy. Out, spending a bunch of money on mediocre food.
Yeah.
I feel like
You hear that?
when we go out, we need to either
saying.
be
Wait, I wanna
either
say-
go to a shitty restaurant
Pause.
or
Pause.
a really good restaurant.
I want to say last year,
Go ahead.
I tried to do it where every other week we
Yeah,
would
you
make
did.
something here.
That was this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like this last year.
Oh, this past year. Okay.
That was what. So I was
did
like,
say
let's
last
go
year, though.
every other week. We'll make something here. We'll
John
go out. We'll make
did
something here.
veto that pretty quickly.
Gosh, you guys.
No, I'm not vetoing it. I'm
Okay.
just saying in my head, it's something that I've tried to do this year and with some success,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously we're all human, is Jordan and I have been trying to make more dinners home. And I will say we've done a lot more than we have in the year prior, but probably
Okay.
not as enough that we need to do next
Are you
year.
going to kick it up this year?
But I look at tonight. I look at like today, the episode day.
Yeah.
I quickly was like, this is the time I'm gonna go out. Like there were points where I was gonna, go grab something out to eat, and I go, no, I'm gonna save it for Tuesday. I'm gonna go with my pals. And so that's why I didn't want to do. I'm open to doing the homemade thing, but I look at our recording day as like the one day in the week that I am gonna go out and I'm gonna have fun because it's with my pals and my homies.
So
Fine.
out, fun.
but
Out
good
fun.
food.
Fun with your homies. In,
Good food, though.
eating healthy. That's what I
Okay.
say.
Okay. All right.
John, what about you?
Yeah. Anyone else? Pipe up. Go ahead, John.
We're going around in a circle.
Yeah, going to Kara.
What?
We have to go
You literally said
in.
you
We
were
have to go
thinking about it.
counterclockwise. Go ahead.
Just give us like one out and one in, or one in and one out.
You didn't say
You did like
out.
4.
I said in, eating healthy. I said out, paying
Fun.
for mediocre,
right,
restaurant food. And let me clarify that. Like, either we go to a nice restaurant or
Like
we just
what-
get
how
takeout.
nice?
Like, we're not I can't keep eating at Chili's. Like, I
Oh.
can't possibly eat at Chili's anymore.
Okay, that's
I
crazy.
can't
You're saying
possibly
you-
eat at
You
Chili's
say the
anymore.
craziest stuff sometimes,
Bro.
and it's
Shit's
So,
like,
like, where does
expensive.
Taco Bell land on that?
Taco
line?
Bell is shitty,
Nice.
so we'll go
Oh,
there.
Okay.
Nice restaurant. Yes, sorry.
I think that's only going to
That's what I
further the
meant to
void
say.
here. Kara's not going to like that at all because Kara doesn't like when we go to Taco Bell.
But
No, sometimes she does.
it's one or the other.
I didn't like the last time because I had Taco Bell earlier, like that day.
Yeah, you got to catch Kara. Sometimes
When the
I
mood is
hack
right.
the system and I check in with Kara about what she's feeling beforehand.
That's
So
a
we
good.
devise
That's
a
a good
plan
call.
and then we pitch it to you
I hate
guys.
that.
That's a good way to like strengthen numbers yourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally hate
Kara,
that.
ins and outs.
In
Yep.
cold lunch.
Oh, okay. Heard. You're so brave.
That is by far on the list of craziest things to happen.
I don't
in
think we might have mentioned that on the
2023.
podcast.
Cold
but-
lunch.
Oh,
Also, that means also like I saw on someone's
Dead.
list just like Mediterranean food, and that's
Okay.
like my
Oh, I
favorite kind of food.
love-
So in
In Mediterranean food.
cucumbers, tomatoes,
Okay.
garbanzo
Heard.
beans, like
Heard.
the fresh, out.
Okay.
wow.
Being on my phone before bed.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw somebody post one and they said, "Put your phone in the kitchen at night. Like plug in your phone."
What if there's an emergency?
Well,
That's
you can
my
put the ringer on.
issue. No, my wait, issue is what if someone's breaking in?
What the hell are you
And you
talking
can't call
about?
for someone really quick.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
I
you
get
can-
that.
I saw something on Amazon where you can it's like a little phone.
It's a box.
cage almost, where you can still swipe. Like if somebody was calling, you could swipe and answer it, but you can't scroll, and you put like a 30-minute timer on
Phone
it.
cage.
And so you put it in there, you shut it, and then it has like an automatic timer. I thought about that because
I
I
think
have
you
zero.
said-
For me, it's
Alcatraz.
more like, yeah, I can go on my phone before bed, but like not 30 minutes before bed.
Oh,
I
my
need
problem
at
is
least
when
30
I
That's
wake
what I'm
up.
saying.
like,
The cage,
die
the
down.
cage would be great because you put it in there, you go get ready for bed, then you can't touch it
Yeah,
anymore.
but the aesthetic.
Okay,
You
well
have to
then you've
consider-
lost me.
Yeah, you gotta commit
gotta
to
choose
that out.
functionality
you gotta commit to
or-
that out. Go ahead, Annie. Ins and out.
In work-life balance.
Love.
Yeah, we want that
Yes.
for you too. We want that for you.
You're
too.
so
Yes.
I
brave.
already have. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
I already have 4 months that I've decided I will no longer take bookings. They're packed.
Yes.
They're done. They're
Whoa.
tapped.
Oh. Okay.
No mass.
Oh, so you're already working the maximum in that month.
I thought you were saying
That-
I'm
the
not gonna
max
work.
I've decided is like half of the max I did this year.
That's good.
Where I think
Fantastic.
the most I did in a month is like 9 events,
Okay.
10 events.
Okay.
I think the most I'm willing to do is like 4 to 5.
Well, yeah, because you can't do those effectively. It's so hard to do those effectively.
Oh yeah,
at
and
10
I
a
also
month.
just like logistically of like, oh, if I have an event on the Monday, will I take something that next Sunday? And I'm like,
No.
no,
Dang.
you know, like that, just like being better about
love
it.
that for you.
I also
Okay.
is,
2 ins. Sure.
Oh really? We're gonna limit my ins and outs.
You're brave. 2 ins. Go, Annie. Go.
In is sounds so stupid. Making memories.
No, that's
So
beautiful.
like doing more of what we did this year of like going to Zion and going camping and just being more intentional of like making
Moments.
memories.
More Christmas cabins.
Yeah, more like time,
Yeah.
like actually
We don't
like
get invited.
kind of like
No, not us, but like in Annie's
group
life.
one.
In Annie's
Yeah.
life.
God. Well, this is why you don't get invited because you're so
Yeah,
freaking annoying.
That's right. That's right. You're brave for
Ow,
saying
annoying
that.
people.
Yeah. Give us a real out,
Yeah,
please.
please.
Out scrolling on TikTok so
Yeah.
much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna regret saying this because you guys are gonna make me
Say
do
it out loud. Say it out loud.
I'm gonna
Manifest
have
it.
someone else put a screen like the code
Uh-huh.
because you can do a screen time for like certain apps.
I told you about that.
Yeah, and then you
Oh.
can have it lock, and
Right.
someone else can have the code.
Because I've been thinking about it for a long time, like having my wife set a code, like because you can password protect it, like
And
can
you
say,
get
like,
a
1
time
hour,
limit, right?
And you get a time limit, and then when it's done, because
Wow.
it's hard because you can just usually skip through that time limit, and you do
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
have somebody you close to you be like, I'll set the code, and then if you need to get into something like I need to get an Instagram for business or something, you could text somebody
Yeah.
for that code, but they're not going to be like,
My thing is like TikTok. Like I don't
Yeah.
make any business or have any of my business come from TikTok. So like, why
Yeah.
am I spending 4 hours on TikTok? I don't need to be on TikTok.
When you can really truly get like all that you're gonna possibly get beneficial out of TikTok in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
In an hour.
Oh yeah, and like
Not
even on my
6
business
hours.
side, is like I don't scroll on Instagram like I scroll on TikTok.
yeah.
damn.
Even when I deleted TikTok and I just had Reels, like it doesn't, but that algorithm's
hit
not
the
the same,
same.
so it doesn't hit the same.
No,
so yeah,
it
I'm
just
not as like
doesn't.
addicted. And then another out,
2 ins, 2 outs. Go
2
ahead.
ins, 2 outs. Out,
Cute.
not just not taking care of yourself. Like yeah, like eating bad food, not exercising,
Yes.
not you know.
Yes.
I've started this thing where it's like even if you're like. Even if I'm gonna lay around all day, like still doing my hair, still like getting like fresh
wow.
clothes in, like, you
That's
know,
nice.
I
just
love
like
that.
being ready.
Just be ready for me to stop you from eating fried food.
Whoa.
Don't
This
stop
is
me.
controversial, and you guys are gonna be like, "That's not true." I actually really don't like fried food that much.
No, I know,
That's
but it's just fun
so
to eat.
crazy to hear.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna stop you.
thank you.
I get what you're saying.
Well, it's that kind of thing where it's like, if I have 2 bites of it, I'm like, "Oh, this is good," and then my stomach hurts so bad that I'm like,
That's why I'm gonna stop
You just don't like what it does to you. Because I'm the same way. I'm like,
well, even like the idea of French fries. Sometimes I'm like,
okay, don't know about that. Go ahead, John. The idea of French fries?
just the
delicious?
grease, like the grease
Hot and
of 'em.
delicious? I don't know. That's going to be hard for me
Anyway,
to break.
John,
That's
ins,
tough for me to
outs.
process. In is getting up early. I've been thinking about this for a while. On Christmas Eve, it was a Sunday, and I think my body just like naturally woke me up because I'm usually up early for service on Sundays. I didn't have to be at church till 10 a.m., but I woke up at like 6:30 naturally, and I spent the home an hour just like cleaning and resetting the house, and because I knew that we would want to come home to like a clean house on Christmas Eve night and Christmas Day, and it was so good for me. And like even this morning, like I woke up and I recorded a different podcast earlier this morning, and I got up at like 2 hours earlier than I would need to like leave, and I was not able to like do the dishes, and prep, and then I just felt so much more ready. And
could you say in giving yourself more time?
Yes,
because that extends past like.
But I have to set up I have to set myself up for that. Like I can't just be like I'm gonna give myself more time. Like the goal has to be like getting up early because my brain doesn't work like I'm gonna like set myself up. No, like if I'm up, I'm gonna do things that are effective. But if I in my head I'm like, oh, I'll just like sleep in a couple more minutes, it'll never happen, you know. That's in, and then also it goes with my out. But I wanted to say one more in is creating content. This whole month of December, we've been posting. Well, I've been posting, and you've also been posting on your story the Christmas sweater thing. And it sounds so dumb, but like I miss posting content, and I just don't.
Doesn't sound dumb.
And one of my outs is like.
We're currently in the content that we're posting, so.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, like, just on Instagram, like this simple stuff. Because I stopped doing that, and I was like looking at my posts. Like I think I've posted maybe 4 times, excluding December this year. Like that's crazy. There was a time in my life where I was like posting at least once a week, and I'm not saying I need to post more, but being more intentional. Like I really enjoyed making that post about my grandma, and it was like everyone loved it, and I felt like it just felt like so good.
I cried.
I did too.
I literally
was fully weepy.
I fully cried.
I made
it.
that, and then I watched it for the first time. Like, and I took footage and like put it into Premiere. Like legit made it.
Yeah.
And I watched for the first time, and I was like, not only did this feel good to make, but it feels good to share. And I felt like that was kind of therapeutic for me. And I felt like I need to do more of this. Like I need to pick something, make something, but make something intentional and make something that means something. Don't just post random crap. Just like. And that goes with my out, which is like, what's out for me is like social media posting anxiety. Like, there's so many things that I think about that I don't post because I talk myself out of it. Like there was 2 other like story like reels I was gonna make in December, and I just the whole time I started walking myself back on it, and then it never happened, and I almost walked myself out of my grandma video. Like I literally almost did it, and then I made it one time, and I thought. I tried making it one time and it didn't work, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna write a post, and then like the morning of Christmas Eve, that's when I woke up early. I was like, nope, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this.
I love that.
And it took me like 6 takes, and I like had to recut everything, and the amount of times I had to cut out the word that's why it cut so much because first of all, it was emotional for me, and that I can never talk well when I'm doing something emotional. But I had to cut all these things out, and I thought this is towards the end I was like, this is dumb. I shouldn't post it. And then I thought, nope, out with like anxiety of that, and
out with anxiety.
Yeah, out with anxiety in general. Yes. So those are my ins and outs.
I love that.
Out with anxiety.
I love it. I saw a TikTok. I hate myself. I was scrolling TikTok, and it was like, hey, this goes out to like people that are creators, but you're spending so much time on TikTok. You're watching everybody else's stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're watching their stuff, you like the best stuff you can do comes from you. And all you're going to do is want to replicate stuff that you've already seen. All you're going to want to do is regurgitate stuff that you're looking at. And the best, most authentic you just comes from you. And so it kind of goes with what you're saying, kind of goes with what Annie's saying too, is like if you cut that time out and then you're being intentional with what you're posting, it's like that's gonna be your best stuff.
Yeah, and I did this when at the beginning, the first day of 25 Days of Christmas Sweater was like just like a little like about me being baptized and stuff, and I made it and I was really happy with it. I posted it and then I like immediately saved it and posted on like YouTube Shorts and on TikTok, and I've never posted on TikTok ever until the first, and I thought this is so dumb, like like why am I holding myself back, you know? And, you know, we talk about this show all the time, and I think we have a lot of really good, loyal listeners, and I appreciate, like, the views we get. But I'm like, if we're not out there putting our individual selves out there a little bit in that sense. Like, how can we expect people to find us here?
Like in a vacuum.
You know?
We have to be pointing back to it.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was thinking.
Love it.
Yeah.
In
Podcast.
I'm doing dry January.
Whoa.
So is this the opposite
Damn.
of Gallantober, where you decide not to drink water at all?
I won't be drinking any liquids.
At all.
I'll be drinking no
Completely
liquids. I will be
dry
getting
January.
I'll be getting all of my fluids via the air.
Yes. I don't know what dry January means. I just assume that it means not drinking any
You're
liquids.
not drinking anything. Dry January. What encouraged you to do that?
Just I've been drinking a lot.
You watched the cocktail episode.
I
and
watched
you're
the
like,
cocktail
we can't
episode.
Do this
I'm like,
again.
maybe. And I just like, okay.
All right, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was trying to
Hold
do
on.
something really
In,
quick. Sorry.
in phone while I'm talking.
My bad.
In phone call.
In phone while my friends are talking. No, like it's just been a struggle because I love beer and I love like going out for drinks and stuff. But I'm like, I do like the last few times we went out, and especially after the cocktail episode, I was like, I don't feel good. Like I'm just gonna run it and see how I feel about it. Maybe I will topple that with Gallantober. We'll go on top of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Gallinary.
Yeah,
Gallon-
I think
Gallanary.
I've
Gallinary is kind of cool.
I think I've kind of been on that same train of like, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink often, but like
Yeah.
when I do, I don't know.
Yeah.
You drink too much, or you just like
No, I feel like it's never too much, but it is that kind of same thing where like you're like, at the end of it, you're like, oh,
yeah.
I guess that was fun.
It's so weird because like I love it so much. Like I love going out to a bar. Like I love like when we all drink together. I'm like, it's great. I'm not like, oh, I'm an alcoholic. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I like that, and I like breweries and the whole culture behind all of it. But I'm like, also there's an element that like you're not like when you get drunk, you're not like in your right mind either. It's like
Yeah.
And
weird.
you save money.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Freaking cut carbs. Like I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try it and see.
I knew this
how
girl
it goes.
once where
Okay.
every year she gave something up for a year.
Oh.
So when I knew her, she
Wow.
gave up bread. So she would just do it just to see if she could do it.
That's
It had like
crazy.
like 1 year she gave up alcohol, 1 year she gave up bread, 1 year she gave up sugar. She went a year
For a
without
whole
sugar.
year?
A whole year.
I
1
can't
year
remember who it
without
was.
sugar.
It was a celebrity who for a whole year they only had water.
That's
as a
impossible.
liquid.
Like-
no other drink.
Oh, yeah.
Just
My
water.
sister did that. My sister did water and iced tea, and that was it.
Ooh, iced tea.
I thought you meant she was only drinking water, not eating.
I was like, that
No.
is
I was
like, she's
impossible.
dead.
She,
No.
I knew what you
it's
meant.
called death.
It's called She's Dead.
Speaking
Yeah.
of death,
Go ahead. Oh, we should check the death pool.
none of our people
So
died.
intense.
None
No,
of
we'll
our
check it
people
next. We'll
died.
check it next week because the year's not officially over yet. Technically,
Can we
We
just
have-
take a look at it?
I
A
see
peek.
Sure, sure,
who
of course.
has to die in the next.
Who has to die in the next
3
week?
days.
We got to take a peek
Gosh.
because then we'll be ready for
The
next
amount of
week.
times I've
we
looked
make our
at
new
it-
When we have our
predictions.
new
Shocking.
list.
Yes.
Here we go.
And should we say no repeats?
No repeats. It has to
Okay.
all be a
I
new
want
cast
my
of characters.
repeat.
No repeats.
Well, I feel like there's a couple on there that this
it's
might be
real.
their year.
Morgan Freeman.
Okay, here they are.
Is Jimmy Carter on the list? Because homies.
I
Ready.
feel like that
That's
is
a
slow
no-brainer.
blow. Like he's
I know that's what the hard part
practically
about
already
this is.
dead.
I started thinking about what mine will be. Obviously, in our next week's episode, we'll talk about it.
You're gonna double
And
down
I'm
and go
like-
Joe Biden again.
But I'm also
Your dad's not
thinking.
gonna like that one.
I'm also thinking like now I'm thinking about it too objectively. I'm thinking about it as like who's old, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like before it was very candid, like I was just picking somebody, you know, and now it feels like I'm
I
trying to
still
win,
want- I
you
still
know?
want Prince Andrew today.
We could have never guessed Matthew Perry. I don't know if I
No,
could have
never.
in a million years would have
Right,
put him on my
but like,
list.
but also like now we won't. We're gonna pick old people this year. Like I know it. Like
No,
we're all gonna pick
no.
old
I feel like
people.
you have to pick. You can
You
pick
gotta
one
play the
old
odds.
person.
Ryan had Dick Van Dyke and King Charles.
Those were good.
Annie had Prince Andrew. I don't know how you got two. That's annoying. Kara got Morgan Freeman, which he's still.
I
kicking.
feel like we all should get two
We should probably all get two.
All right, next year we'll get to
Play the
well,
odds.
next year.
Next year.
in 4 days.
And then I had President Biden.
Who? You had President Joe Biden?
President.
Yes.
My dad was so convinced that Secret Service, and I will say maybe like 20 years ago, Secret Service had enough time to like go around and check on something like that. But like, who the hell is going to come by and be like, were you being serious about what you said on that podcast? No.
Freedom of speech.
Artie, the
So
podcast
funny.
dog, is giving me a lot of love right now.
Artie,
getting
the
a lot of love.
podcast dog.
He spent a lot of time with his cousins
So
in
he
the kennel on
tired.
Christmas Day, unfortunately. So he just
Depression.
we're not putting him in the crate for a couple days because we feel bad. But
That's
he's
so brave.
So brave.
In for Artie.
he's very like he's
Hanging
very
out with
like
cousins. Out is crate time.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
God. You see this?
So
He's
cute.
giving you a handshake.
Wait. I have to get a recording of that. That is so funny.
Yeah,
Completely
he's a cute little dog.
unprecedented.
Hey,
buddy.
are you guys gonna get any new animals in the new year? No, you guys.
No, probably
Of
not.
course not. I have been seeing like a
I
lot
thought
of.
you were gonna say new tattoos. I was like, yes.
Oh yeah.
That is in.
Tattoos are in, obviously.
Tattoos in for sure. Especially for Annie. Annie got a new tattoo.
Oh, I did get a tattoo.
We talked about that very briefly last week.
You're not gonna get another one.
It was just a blip on the radar.
I don't think so, but
She's not gonna get another.
Ouch.
I was thinking maybe like if I have kids, like a teardrop to represent each
Oh,
kid.
got it. Yeah. Okay. That's a good end to the episode.
Crazy.
Yep.
Folks, we want to thank Texas Roadhouse for always being a loyal supporter of this show, as well as our Patreon supporters. Hey, if you want to check out that crazy cocktail episode from last week, head on over to Patreon. For just $4 a month, you can
Labo.
see every post show. You can see every piece of content that gets edited out. And you can see this year we're going to be, John said, we're going to be posting some new content. We got some more BTS is going to be coming around.
Yeah, awesome.
And maybe this is the year in merch.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
Could be. We
Could
got a
be
lot of
crazy.
inquiries about it.
Out talking bullshit, you know?
Out cursing on the podcast.
After you just said that, awesome.
No. Pass.
Out,
Annie.
Out, Eddie. Out, Eddie.
On the couch as always. Cara Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
We'll see you next year on What the Podcast.
Bye-bye.
See you next year. That's perfect.
Hags.
Right now is the only time you can use hags.
Great
Hags.
summer. Hags.
Or I guess have a great year.
See you next year, baby.
Aggie?
See you next year.
You can't say
Aggie.
hags.
See you.
Haggy.
S-Y.
Bye.
Haggy.